Hi everyone, and welcome to Home Coffee Plan number 12. I'm your third host. I'm Paul Stevens. I'm the head coffee roaster with Rosso Coffee Roasters. And the coffee I have for you today is one of our menu items. It's called Sumava, and it's anaerobic white honey process. This coffee is from Costa Rica, and it's from a farm called Sumava del Lourdes, owned by Francisco Mena, and it's one of the most immaculate farms that I've had the pleasure to visit. Everything is very clean and tidy, and this comes across in the coffee, which is incredibly sorted. The varietal of this coffee is Villasarchi, which is a mutation of Bourbon. Now, Bourbon is one of the original strains that came out of Yemen. Yemen was the first country to actually commercially grow coffee. And then from there, like two strains, Bourbon and Typica, spread throughout the world, and most other coffee strains are now descended from those two. So this Villasarchi was a spontaneous mutation of the Bourbon varietal. It has a really good fruity sweetness, and it grows particularly well in Costa Rica, and that is where you primarily find this coffee. It's a white honey process, which means that when the cherries are stripped off, they're laid out with part of the mucilage on them still, which imparts more sweetness to them, and also means they use less water in the processing. Then they are placed in a tank for anaerobic fermentation, which means that they're fermented without the presence of oxygen. So the oxygen is pumped out, and then they are fermented for 120 hours. What this does is allows the bacteria to ferment the coffee. This leads to a really nice, delicate, balanced coffee with a great sweetness. I roast this coffee for espresso and filter, so I try and find a balance point where it's not too bright and it's not too dark. I give it a little bit more development than I would for a filter brew, so it tones the acidity down, increases the sweetness, increases the body, it makes a nice rounded cup. So for you today, I'm going to be using the AeroPress brew method. I really like the AeroPress. I think it's very versatile. It's very easy. I've entered a couple of competitions, which I quite like. The competition, I placed silver a few years back. So the method I'm going to brew for you today is an easy one to follow. It uses 18 grams of coffee and 290 mils of water. So what we do first is I've already loaded the AeroPress with a filter, and we rinse the paper filter to get rid of any papery tastes. It also allows the filter to swell up and make a nice tight fit in the bottom of the AeroPress to stop any coffee grounds from leaking out. And I've ground 18 grams of coffee. It's a medium fine grind. Now, explaining grind to people is a bit difficult because everybody has a different grinder and a different idea of what the grinds are like. But a good indicator for the AeroPress is how hard you have to press. If you're putting all of your weight behind it to try and force the coffee through, then it means the coffee is much too fine. If the coffee tastes too weak at the end of the brew, then your coffee is too coarse. So try and use that as a guide. It's like a medium fine grind. Okay, I'm going to zero my scale, and I'm going to do a 30 ml bloom first. And allow that to sit for 30 seconds. Then we're going to pour up to 170 mils. And stir 5 times. And now we wait for 2 minutes. Okay, the coffee's almost ready, so I'm going to take it off the scale. It's already started dripping through, so we've only got a little bit more to push through. So we need a nice gentle push. I like to use the weight of my other arm and just hold it there. The key to a nice clear cup from the AeroPress is to press very gently. As soon as you start applying a lot of pressure, you will get fine grinds will come out into the cup. So we have a concentrated brew here. So we're going to dilute that with another 120 mils of water. I like to use lukewarm water, which means I can drink the coffee straight away and not have to wait. But if you want to use the rest of the hot water, that's fine. Okay, and then just stir to mix it all up. There we have it. So the first thing I get is a really nice chocolate sweetness. And there's a silky body and there's touches of red apple and raspberry in there. And that transforms to a nice lemon and cocoa on the finish. It's a really nice, balanced, sweet cup. I hope you guys enjoy it.